Here's a quick reminder, you don't actually have to spend money on weekends, but somehow, we've completely forgotten that. Shopping has gotten completely out of hand. Thanks to social media, spending money isn't just about buying things we need anymore. It's turned into a whole new way to have fun, just like working out, chilling out, or taking up a hobby. Picture this, you've just survived a crazy, stressful week at work. It's a gorgeous weekend, but you and the family just spent an hour sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic on the I-5. By the time you finally escape the car, if you don't hit the mall and buy something, it honestly feels like a total waste of the beautiful weather, not to mention making all that traffic completely pointless. Even if people skip the mall and opt for a stroll by the beach or in the park, they are still more than happy to crown their chill outdoor time with a double scoop cone. They aren't just engaging in an economic transaction, they are partaking in a psychological ritual called a reward.
Okay, so what if you just stay home? If you relax inside and just scroll on your phone, can you actually avoid spending money? Nope. Enter Temu, the app that was everywhere during the last 2 Super Bowls, and its giant sister app in China, Pinduoduo. Let's break down how they secretly turn shopping into an addictive game that goes viral, while totally messing with our psychology to make sure we close the deal.
When users first open Pinduoduo or Temu, they are almost always greeted by a massive spinning prize wheel. Hidden within this is a highly calculated detail. No matter how frantically a user taps the screen, the flashy animations will not speed up or skip. The system forces them to watch the entire sequence play out. For those few seconds, users are essentially held hostage by the app. This mirrors the exact logic of a casino slot machine. The platform needs that time to build the user's anticipation to its peak. This is not a design flaw. It is the core mechanism used to hook users right from the start. Take the spinning wheels and treasure boxes frequently shown to new Temu users. For example, a giant roulette wheel pops up, the user hits spin, and the pointer starts turning. Ultimately, it always stops just a tiny fraction of an inch away from the grand prize, such as a massive $200 coupon bundle. It is so close. In that exact second, the user's brain is flooded with dopamine, creating a powerful illusion. Today is an incredibly lucky day, and it would be a huge waste not to take advantage of this. In psychology, this is known as the near-miss effect. It gives individuals the illusion that they almost won the jackpot, making them eager to spend whatever reward they just received. The reality, however, is that this has absolutely nothing to do with personal luck. The outcome is pre-written in the code long before the wheel even starts spinning. The platform's sole purpose is to manufacture this false sense of luck to strongly trigger the user's urge to shop. The classic Pinduoduo chop it or cash withdrawal trick takes this to an even more extreme level. The screen boldly claims that the user is just $0.01 away from cashing out, while the entire interface constantly bombards them with flashing progress bars and the sound of dropping gold coins. This is a textbook application of the sunk cost fallacy and loss aversion. To get to that final penny, users often go through a lengthy process, spending significant time tapping the screen, completing tasks, and even expending social capital by sending links to friends and family for help. Having invested so much time and social energy, closing the app feels as though all that effort has gone down the drain. Humans naturally hate the feeling of losing an investment, and the software capitalizes perfectly on this psychological vulnerability. The endless flashing animations and countdowns on the interface constantly magnify the user's reluctance to give up. This is how the platform leverages the user's inability to walk away, forcing them to stay in the app to browse more products or invite new users. At the book Times Thinking, Fast and Slow, Nobel Prize-winning economist Daniel Kahneman divides human thinking into 2 systems. System 1 represents fast thinking, which relies on intuition, is highly emotional, and tends to be impulsive, while System 2 represents slow thinking, which is responsible for rational analysis, logical reasoning, and a complex decision-making. In traditional commerce, consumer choices are typically the result of a negotiation between these 2 systems. However, a close analysis of the UI and interaction design of Pinduoduo and Temu reveals a singular, overriding logic. They relentlessly seek to awaken the user's System 1 while systematically putting System 2 to sleep. The core objective of this design philosophy is to minimize rational contemplation, manufacturing impulse, and eliminating transactional friction to maximize conversion rates. This strategy is most vividly illustrated by Pinduoduo's treatment of the shopping cart feature. On traditional e-commerce platforms, the shopping cart serves as more than just a functional module for storing items. Psychologically, it acts as a rational buffer zone reserved for System 2. The conventional shopping journey browsing, saving, reviewing the total bill, removing unnecessary items, and finally, checking out grants the brain a necessary cooling off period for secondary confirmation. Pinduoduo, however, severely weakens or, in many core scenarios, entirely eliminates the shopping cart option. Instead, the interface heavily promotes prominent buy now or initiate group buy buttons. This design brutally yet effectively shatters the traditional browse save buy logic, compressing it into a singular, reflexive see it buy it action. It accurately exploits the human instinct for instant gratification, depriving users of the opportunity to regret, compare, or rationally review their choices. More often than not, by the time the consumer's rational mind catches up, the payment has already been processed. On the other hand, Temu, the international version of the platform, retains the shopping cart but weaponizes it through a clever reverse operation. The implementation of a dynamic minimum checkout threshold. On Temu's checkout interface, the system typically mandates a minimum order amount for shipping, such as $10 or $15, or sets a specific spending requirement for free shipping. This mechanism deeply applies the goal gradient effect from behavioral economics. When a user is attracted by a cheap item priced at merely $3 and adds it to their cart, they find themselves unable to proceed to checkout. Driven by the fear of missing out on a perceived bargain or simply striving to meet the platform's shipping prerequisites, the user is forced to continue browsing the platform to find other low-cost items to bridge the gap. During this process, the user's cognitive focus undergoes a subtle shift. They are no longer evaluating whether I actually need these additional items, but are instead entirely fixated on how to reach the $10 limits. The end result is almost always the same. In order to purchase a $3 item they initially wanted, the user ends up buying a pile of goods they never needed in the first place. Whether it is Pinduoduo's cartless design or Temu's minimum spending threshold, both platforms achieve the same outcome through different means. Through highly precise UI interactions, they successfully bypass the rational gatekeepers of the consumer's brain, reducing the act of shopping from a deliberate allocation of resources to a conditioned reflex governed entirely by intuition and impulse. Furthermore, these platforms intricately weave micro-level social proof into the user experience. Along the edges or at the top of the interface, the system frequently flashes scrolling banners or pop-ups featuring messages like, "Someone just purchased this item," or 100,000 people have already joined the group buy. This design accurately exploits the inherent human susceptibility to the bandwagon effect. Just as a physical store with a long queue naturally draws the attention and curiosity of passers-by in the real world, these digital pop-ups, which may be exaggerated or even entirely auto-generated by algorithms, replicate the exact same queue effect in the realm of e-commerce.
Today we explored how these shopping apps use clever UI design and psychology to keep us hooked. But be clear, I'm not saying we should delete them. Getting a good deal feels amazing, and here's nothing wrong with saving money. The goal is simply to enjoy the low prices without letting the interface make our decisions. Thinking back to those attractive moments when you are preparing to tap the order button, just hold the thumb over the screen for 2 seconds and ask yourself, do I actually need this, or does the apps push me feel like I can miss out? That's our hard-earned money. And understanding these design tricks just puts us back in the driver's seat. Alright, that's all the information for today. Let's chat in the comments. See you next time. Peace out.